Hello, this is Ron Stallworth calling. Well, who am I speaking with?
This is David Duke.
Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. That David Duke?
God. Last time I checked. What can I do you for?
Well, since you asked, I hate blacks. I hate Jews, Mexicans and Irish, Italians and Chinese. But my mouth to God's ears, I really hate those black rats. And anyone else, really, that doesn't have pure white Aryan blood running through their veins.
I'm happy to be talking to a true white American.
God bless white America.
That was a scene from director Spike Lee's new film, Black Klansman. It is out today, purposefully released, Spike Lee says, 1 year after Charlottesville's deadly race riot. The movie chronicles the true story of a black Colorado Springs police officer who successfully infiltrated the KKK. That officer would go on to strike up a relationship with the Klan Grand Wizard, David Duke. So joining me now, the man who portrays Duke in the film, actor Topher Grace. Topher, a pleasure, and congratulations on this film.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You have been acting for quite a while, a lot of roles, but the Grand Wizard of the KKK, did it take you a minute to say yes? And once you did say yes, tell me why.
Well, I asked to do it, so it wasn't like someone asked me. I kind of hunted down the script. I wanted to read the new Spike Lee movie. And then when I read it, I thought, I think I have a take on David Duke. And when I called up my agents and said, I want to play David Duke, there was like just a long silence on the other end of the phone.
Really?
And then they said, you have to go read for Spike, because it's not like anything you've done before. And I was happy to go read for him.
And so in researching the role, I read that you watched a lot of Phil Donahue. I mean, you read his book, watched speeches.
No, this is like the best day of your life. Spike Lee calls you and says, I want you to be my guy in the new Spike Lee joint. And then at the end of that day, you go, wait a second, this is about to be the worst month of my life. I had to read his autobiography, which is called My Awakening. It's actually kind of hard to get, which is a good thing. Yeah. I don't recommend it. It's just terrible. It's kind of like his Mein Kampf. I watched a lot of filmed interviews from the 70s. I listened to his radio show a lot to kind of get his voice down. And the most helpful thing was there were a few episodes of Donahue he did in the early 80s. And that helped me pinpoint really what is so evil about him. I mean, like there's many things, but in terms of my performance, the audience hated him. I mean, Donahue was having him on as the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, and he was kind of good with the audience. And I said, oh, that's what makes this man so evil, is that he kind of rebranded racism at that time and made it more palatable to more people.
Wow. So all the while you're shooting this film, you know, you have your first child with your wife. Congratulations to you on that. But you're running lines right. Full of hate speech, and your wife is like, honey.
Yeah, she's like, let's be careful what our child's first word is going to be here. She was really understanding, my wife. It wasn't just that I was rehearsing lines around her, which she quickly made me like go to the den and do, but. It was more about how just absolutely depressing it was to spend that much time in someone's head who's so full of hate. And
I was watching all these interviews with the real Ron Stallworth, who was sitting with Spike for an interview, and Ron was saying that he actually got a call from the real David Duke, ahead of this film's release.
This was like 5 nights ago. Yeah.
David Duke says to Ron, essentially, hey, I'm really worried about how I may be portrayed in this film. Did Ron tell you about that?
He did. I mean, I was like, sequel. It's like kind of the same thing that happened years ago. David has denied since his book came out in 2006, since Ron's book came out in 2006, that it ever happened. So this was kind of an admission on his part that it did happen, and I think also an admission that he doesn't know how Hollywood works, because, there's no changing it now.
No. It's in the can. It's coming out today. Yeah. And last question, Topher, this film, right, it's all about racism in the 70s. And I was reading from your research with David Duke, some of the lines he used, right? America first, make America great again, right? This was decades ago. And then this film ends with the present day and the gut-wrenching scene from Charlottesville a year ago. And I'm just curious what you think this will stir up in audiences as they leave the theater.
Well, yeah, especially in those episodes of Donahue, he used the words America first and make America great again a lot. And watching that from 2017, I mean, I don't know how many people are watching episodes of Donahue now, but it really stood out to me. And I realized why a film like this, and all films like this, are so important. If you don't study your history, they say you could be condemned to repeat it. So I think what Spike is doing is just so important.